Hi book lovers, welcome back to my channel. I am finishing up the 12 days of Bookmas. I am finishing up the last few videos of the year, and I have to do a video talking about all of my favorite book boyfriends that I fell in love with this year. These are the best heroes that I read, the ones that I became obsessed with, the ones that live in my head rent-free. Also, please feel free to share your favorite book boyfriends of the year because I want to know. And let me know if we share any of the same favorites. So, starting off in no particular order, one of my top book boyfriends of 2023 is Callum from Liars Like Us by JT Geissinger. This man, oh my goodness, I am so obsessed with him because of his obsession with the heroine. I am always gonna be a sucker for an obsessed hero, okay? These kinds of heroes are my kryptonite, and this man goes to another level. So he is a billionaire, it's a billionaire romance, so the money obviously does not hurt. This man wants the heroine so badly that he offers her $20 million to marry him. I personally would have snatched up that offer in an instant. The heroine here does have a backbone. She does make him work for it a little bit. He goes crazy for her. Actually, okay, the first offer that he did was $10 million to marry him. And then when she said no, he doubled it into 20 million. That's how insane Callum was over Emery. And she really has no idea the level of his obsession. He's also a fantastic dirty talker, swooning over him. So if you love billionaire romances, you absolutely will fall in love with Callum. And then another favorite book boyfriend is Glitch from Glitch by Brianna Michaels. You are gonna see a pattern of obsessed heroes in my list, alright? So Glitch is another obsessed hero. He is completely gone for his heroine, and he has never even really met her. They're actually gaming buddies, like online gaming buddies, but he's already fallen for her like so hard through their messages and chats, and he finally gets to meet the woman of his dreams when she gets a problem with her computer. And since he owns this electronic shop and he's able to fix computers, she brings it in to him, and he is just blown away by her. Glitch pretty much worships the ground that Era walks on. The chemistry between them is insane. Even before they met, it was so hot. They get into some kinky stuff. It is wild and hot. Also, Glitch has the perfect, sexy, deep voice, and he actually does like audiobooks. He does some spicy narrations, so he was kind of perfect. All he really lives for is to make his heroine happy, and how can I not love that? And then I have Jack from Love Theoretically by Elle Hazelwood. He is one of my new favorite Elle heroes. He was so perfect, and the thing about him that kind of stood out from other Elle Hazelwood heroes is that he goes after what he wants. He is a man who knows what he wants, he is confident, he says what he thinks, and when he falls for the heroine, he falls hard and he goes after her. The confidence on this man was next level. I mean, all the other Elle Hazelwood heroes, they've been more on the shyer side. They're a little nervous to show their feelings for the heroine when they're falling for her, but this man, nope. When he goes in, he goes all in. Also, the banter between Jack and Elsie is perfect. He loves bringing out the most and the best out of Elsie. Also, he's a bit of a nerd. He is a physicist like the heroine, so he's smart and hot and confident and head over heels for the heroine. Honestly, if I didn't love Adam so much, Jack would be my new favorite Elle Hazelwood hero. I also fell in love with Dane from The Favor by Suzanne Wright. This is a marriage of convenience romance. It's boss assistant, and oh my goodness, this is another hero who has a slight obsession with the heroine, okay? You can very, very clearly tell that this is a kind of hero who has fallen in love with the heroine way before she ever finds out or starts falling for him. He is an asshole type of boss, CEO, but the heroine is the only one who's able to stand up to him, and honestly, she's the only one that he's really even remotely nice to. Like, he's soft only for her, and I'm a total sucker for that. He also becomes so protective over her. He becomes a little bit possessive because the heroine does have an ex of hers who wants her back, and he's like, absolutely not. She's mine. And the steam, oh my god, the spice was fantastic. This man, intense. If you know Suzanne Wright, she does write a lot of paranormal romances with like you know, fated mates, alpha heroes, and even though this is contemporary, the hero still has that alpha feel to him. It would totally fit if Dane was actually like an alpha werewolf, because that's kind of his personality. But yeah, Dane, perfection. This book, Marriage of Convenience, heaven. Another hero that I fell in love with this year, surprisingly, is Kirill from the Monster Trilogy by Rena Kent. I say surprisingly because I've always struggled with her books and her heroes especially. They're just a bit too much for me and not enjoyable, but Kirill was so different from all the ones that I've read. For one thing, he was funny. I mean, he's still dark and badass, but he had some humor to him. He also becomes really protective over the heroine. The whole story, the whole series is like a Russian mafia retelling of Mulan. So the heroine, she pretends to be a man to join the Russian army, and Kirill is one of the higher-ups, and he takes Sasha under his wing. He does know that she is a woman though. He figures that out early on. So it's not like a true Mulan retelling, but it's got the gist of it. Kirill is also the heir to the Russian mafia, so he's got quite a bit of power, but the only things he really cares about are Sasha and his siblings. He does have some grumpy moments. It's pretty adorable the way that he is kind of grumpy towards his siblings, but you can clearly tell how much he loves them. And you can see him throughout the trilogy fall so hard for Sasha, and he goes through so much for her. So this whole trilogy was great. I'm so glad that I read it and that I fell in love with it. And then I have Ryan Shea from The Right Move by Liz Tomforde. I really don't know who doesn't fall in love with Ryan when they read his book, because he is everything. He's this famous basketball player, and because of his fame, he has become a bit of a loner, and the only person that he really loves and cares about is his twin sister. The heroine, Indy, she is his sister's best friend, so it's a best friend's brother type of romance, and they kind of get along like oil and water. They are complete opposites. They become roommates and then they start fake dating, and it is so freaking sweet the way that they start falling for each other so hard. Ryan is really reluctant at first, like he's really confused about all these feelings that he's starting to feel for Indy. Like he is feeling all possessive and jealous over her, but once Ryan finally figures out that Indy is the one for him, oh, so good, so swoony. And he's also such a good guy. Like he's an absolute sweetheart. He's a good man, a great basketball player, a supportive brother, and a totally adoring boyfriend, even when he's pretending to be a fake boyfriend. So this was such a good sports romance, and also the heroine is pretty high up there for me too. I loved Ryan and Indy pretty equally. They just shone so bright in this book. I also did fall in love with Kai and Caught Up, which is the third book in the Windy City series, the same series as The Right Move. This man has given another reason why single dads are so hot in romances. He's this big baseball player, but his world gets turned upside down when he finds out that he has a very young son. He had no idea that Max existed, so he missed the first 6 months of Max's life, and now he's doing everything he can to make up for it and to be the father that he deserves. The way Kai adores Max is like nothing else. It is so beautiful, so sweet. Every time Kai and Max were together, it made my heart so full. Kai also has a little tradition of putting a photo of Max, a small photo of Max, in his hat, like his ball cap or his hat that he wears for baseball, just to remind himself of his love for his son. So he's a wonderful single dad. He does fall for his new nanny, who is also his coach's daughter, and the way Kai is so supportive over her and her dreams, so perfect. And he's also the type of hero who's willing to let her go so she can achieve those dreams. Liz Tomforde really did so good this year with two perfect book boyfriends. Another top favorite is Kai from King of Pride by Anna Huang. Kai so far is my favorite hero in the Kings of Sin series. This is book 2. Like at first you think he is unemotional, robotic, but no, he has so much going on inside him. He's part of the Valhalla Club, which is like this billionaires club, and the heroine works as one of the bartenders there. There's a no fraternization policy though, so they shouldn't start up anything, but the chemistry between between them is so strong. I love their dynamic. Like, Kai is on the reserve side, Isabella is a bit chaotic. They're complete opposites, but they bring out the best out of each other. Also, I love a man who will spontaneously gift you a trip to Paris just to lift up your spirits. He puts his money to good use. And Kai also gifts Isabella this wonderful typewriter because she's an author. His love language is definitely gifting, and I adored him for it. I just love the way that he grows so soft for Isabella. She becomes everything to him, and you can see how much joy she brings into his life. So these two were perfect, and I adored Kai so much. I also fell in love with Thorn from Fall of Ruin and Wrath by Jennifer L. Armentrout. He's this dark prince hero, so hot, oh my god. I don't even know how to describe what kind of fantasy creature he is, but he's unique, and he is definitely on the morally gray side. Like, he does not have any empathy because that's not who he is, that's not what his being is, but he slowly learns thanks to the heroine who actually saves his life. Thorn is literally dying in the beginning of the book, and Liz saves him. She cares for him, and he becomes so obsessed with her. He's so sensual and seductive. I don't know. His character was just like, wow, okay, let me just fan myself. Even though it wasn't anything crazy or kinky, his character was just so hot. He had so much presence. I loved him. There's also a bit of primal play here. He does love to chase, and the ending had me shook. So I love this book, and I loved Thorn. I also have to include Axeman from Caution to the Wind by Giana Darling. His real name is Henning, and that's how the heroine knows him as. He is her best friend, her childhood best friend's stepdad. So we have this hot age gap, forbidden romance. They knew each other years ago when she was still best friends with his stepdaughter and before his wife got murdered. So there's a lot going on in this book and between the main characters, but Axeman was so good. His connection with May, with the heroine, is years in the making, but it's so powerful that even though he kind of hates her now and it's been years since they've seen each other, it's still there, and it's growing stronger every time they see each other again. He's this doctor who joins this motorcycle club, and he knows how to fight, knows how to kill. He actually uses an axe as one of his main tools. He's so badass and cool, but he has so much love for not just the heroine, but also his stepdaughter, who he really truly sees as his own daughter. He's wonderful and so protective over his girls, so he's definitely one of my new favorite heroes from Giana Darling. And then I have to include Lucian from Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. I have to include Suit Daddy. He was pretty much exactly what I was hoping for when we finally got his book. He has a great dirty mouth, and he loves to praise Sloane, the heroine, but also he's this broody, tortured kind of hero who struggled as a young boy, and he had the whole rags to riches transformation, so now he's this powerful, rich man. He's made his life into something that no one could have expected with the way that he grew up in an abusive household, and he's still head over heels in love with the girl next door that he grew up with, that he became best friends with. As adults though, they kind of hate each other, but the banter is a chef's kiss. But I love this man, especially when he finally gets his head out of his ass and starts going after the heroine. He knows that Sloane has always been it for him. She is the one for him, and I just loved all the history that they have between them. I absolutely fell so hard for Lucian this year. Also on my book boyfriends list is Writer from The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy. This man is the perfect grumpy hero. He is such a grump, and it's so adorable. You know those kinds of grumpy heroes where you just can't help but smile when you read them because you know, even though they're grumps, they have so much heart inside them? Yeah, that's Ryder. He kind of hates people, or more like he doesn't allow people to get too close to him because of his past, but he's just so lovable, and the way he is with the heroine, with Gigi, is fantastic. I love their chemistry. I love their banter. They're just so fun together, and I had a great time with them. He's also so romantic. Gigi becomes his everything, and I was swooning like crazy. He's such a good grump that grows soft only for the heroine, and then there's this reveal that happens towards the end of the book that took me by surprise. I don't want to say what it is, but it's something that Gigi and Ryder do without anyone knowing, and I was like, oh, That was so perfect. And you gotta love a man who tries so hard even though his girl's dad hates him. Gigi's dad, Garrett, gives Ryder so much shit, but it's so entertaining. And I mean, he takes all of it and he does it for Gigi, so can't help but love him. And then my final top favorite book boyfriend of 2023 is actually from a fanfic that I read this year. The one fanfic that I read and fell so hard for. It's Draco from Manacled by Senlin Yu. And yes, it is Draco Malfoy from the Harry Potter world. It's Harry Potter fanfic mixed with The Handmaid's Tale, so it gets really dark and really gritty. The writing is beautiful, but Draco in this book is like the definition of the morality chain trope. He is pretty much a villain and he does terrible things, but the heroine, Hermione, is the only thing that really keeps him going. He lives and breathes for her. It is toxic and crazy, but so good. Again, we have another crazy obsessed hero, but Draco's obsession is honestly on a completely different level. Hermione is his everything and he goes through so much, like so many terrible things to keep her alive, to save her from Voldemort, from all the other evil people in this world. She does the same for him too, don't get me wrong. But yeah, Draco, he was something else. In this fanfic, he is pretty much a monster, but he is Hermione's monster. And their romance is just a whole journey that takes you completely out of it, that leaves you exhausted, but the ending is so worth it. Draco, especially in the third part of this fanfic, I felt even harder for him there because he's finally free to love Hermione in the way that he loves her, which is crazy, obsessive, possessive. It's just so good, and I will be thinking about this book and Draco and Hermione forever. And that's it for all of my favorite book boyfriends that I fell in love with this year. Again, let me know some of your favorite heroes from 2023 or if we share any of the same favorites. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you've been enjoying the 12 days of Bookmas that I've been doing. I'll link all the books that I mentioned down in the description below. I will see you all next time. Bye!